this year was going to be kind of growing pains. Like, we totally transformed the ministry program, added all these crews, and we knew we would learn a lot of things along the way, which we have. We've kind of learned and tweaked and are still kind of tweaking some things and looking to maybe make things better as we move forward. But we do feel like overall, it's been a really good change. We feel like kind of some of the biggest takeaways where more people were able to plan and get involved in ministry. I've had people that were not. It used to kind of be like the campus ministry class did all the things. And yes, while they're still leading, we formed committees for most of our big events. So people who wanted, and any of the crews who wanted to participate and share ideas and help with logistics were able to have the opportunity to do that. And we're going to continue to kind of enhance that. So that's our goal. Our whole goal of doing this was to have more people who have something unique to share, their own personal journey to share with the rest of the school, to have an opportunity to do that. So for you to have an opportunity to grow closer to God and also to share your gifts in ministry, where it's not just, you know, one little group. It's all these different crews being able to learn and grow and share. So that was kind of our goal. We want to continue that. No, actually, go back. I don't know if I said these. So the whole purpose of being in a campus ministry crew, so as you're discerning if it's something you want to do, is to be a witness of faith on campus. So, you know, you're walking the walk, talking the talk, doing your best to live out the gospel, right? Are we perfect? No. But we've all, you know, especially those of you who are juniors and seniors, you've learned from your mistakes. You're hopefully learning and growing and striving to be better. And so you want to be that witness to others and say, like, hey, this is the path to go down. It's a lot like what they talked about. Don't listen to all the noise around you. Listen to the voice of Christ. And to create opportunities for spiritual growth. So you'll be a part of, as much as you want to be a part of helping to provide these opportunities for the rest of the school, whether it's a Rebel Revival, a Formation Night, a Rainmoose Retreat, Girls Guys Retreat, whatever it is, y'all's job is to help attend, get people to come, or help plan them and set up for them. So you're a part of that when you're in a crew. Okay, next. Okay, so y'all know we have the 4 crews. I'm going to have each crew head, we call them crew heads. I'm trying to come up with better names, it just sounds weird. But the head of each crew is probably made to kind of be adjusted next year. So like, I don't want you to say like, oh, I really like this person in this crew, I'm going to stick with this crew. I want you to base your decision on what crew you'd like to be in next year, on where you feel like you can use your gifts. Or maybe this year you were in LeSue and you really wanted to focus on prayer, and now you just maybe you experienced some service projects and you want to kind of go more into service, Calcutta. It's okay, we're allowing y'all to change, but don't do it based on who the head of the crew is, because that is going to probably change, okay? And we don't know who it's going to be yet, but that will change. So let me, I'm going to let them go to the next slide. I'm going to let them kind of each real quickly talk about some events they'll be planning, and about a little bit about their saints. Before he starts, though, the purpose of this meeting is for you to discern what crew, because you get a chance to put the preference of what crew you would like to be in. Likely the seniors are going to get their first preference. Juniors will probably maybe get their first, but we may say, oh, we think you would be good in this crew. You know, the freshman, sophomore, we may kind of switch you around. So you can put your preference, but you may get put somewhere else. And this is where you just pray and trust that God puts you where he wants you. And so I want you to kind of listen and think, what's kind of speaking to your heart today?
All right. So for the LeSue crew, so our patroness is Teresa LeSue. And so she was a Carmelite nun. And so she obviously spent a lot of her time dedicated towards prayer. And so our charism for the LeSue crew is mostly forming a culture of prayer. And so if you have a desire to go deeper in prayer, I mean, everybody kind of like, I'll say, like, how can you live out your faith better? And everybody's like, I'll pray more. Okay, we wanted a little more than that. You know, we want to go deep into prayer, spending time in prayer, spending time with the Lord, kind of like what this whole night was about. And so it was the LeSue crew put on this night, and so that's why I asked them to talk about prayer. And so that's what this crew is dedicated to, forming a culture of prayer on campus. And so my goal, you might have heard me mention this a couple times, is to make it to where the chapel is one of the most visited places on campus. Okay, we have this beautiful chapel, and so I see no reason why more people don't go into the chapel than in my classroom. Okay, so I want to form that culture of prayer here on campus. And so the goal of the Lizia Crew is to provide different opportunities for people to grow in prayer. And so some of the ways that we did that, the biggest one is the Oremus retreat, which literally means let us pray. And so this is the first time that we ever did this year. And so the retreat is dedicated towards prayer. We have plenty of time for adoration. We have time for games and stuff like that. But it's dedicated towards helping you grow in prayer. So that was the biggest thing that we did. But obviously we have different nights like tonight. Another thing that we do is Mass. Okay, obviously we're focused on the liturgy, on the sacraments. And so we want to, encourage frequent reception of the sacraments and frequent attendance at Mass. And so we started doing Masses on Friday mornings, like we have this Friday. During the season of Lent and Advent, I'd like to maybe even open up to Easter in the future. But we want to encourage more of an attendance at Mass. Okay? So that's something else that we do. Also, more time for adoration. So more time for prayer. So that's really kind of the charism of this. And so we started this, and I kind of dropped the ball, so I'm sorry for that. But we also started prayer challenges at the beginning of the year. And so that's something that I would very much like to resume. And so really anything that kind of leads to a deeper culture of prayer here on campus, that's what we want to do. Okay, and so I'd love to hear if you're interested in this crew, any ideas that you have. But that's a little bit of what we did this year, and I'd hope to add a lot more going forward. Okay, so if you're interested in developing a culture of prayer, pray about joining the Lizia Crew.
Beautiful. I want to say two things. One is I want you to think about this too. You may go, oh man, I'm really working on enhancing my prayer life right now. I feel like I'm in a really good place in my prayer life. This is where I want to be. But it could also be that's an area that I really want to grow that I feel like I'm lacking in. And so maybe being in that will inspire you more through being a part of it. So don't limit yourself and go, okay, well this is just what I'm good at. Because we were talking about earlier, the whole idea is that we should all be striving to be balanced in all of these areas, right? Like there's times in my life where like my prayer life is really strong, but maybe I'm not doing a whole lot of service to other people and in my community or whatever. So I don't want you to go, oh well this is just totally me. I'm in a box and I am just this kind of person. Or I'm just like people you say, the Frassati people, they're the fun people, oh no, like we should be kind of striving to have all of that within us. So I don't want you to kind of feel like, oh well that's not me. Hopefully prayer is you, or you're working towards it, or you desire more of a prayer life. So I just kind of wanted to open your mind.
Oh, it's me. Okay, wait, I wanted to say this also. You'll notice that, it says core value. So this is something that was introduced to the faculty already. I don't know how much Father White talked to y'all about it. But we have like 4 core values. And each crew is kind of taking on a value that we want to see grow on campus. This is what Turlings is going to be about. So Lizia, the core value is communion. And you've heard this word a lot because this was our theme for the year. Okay? Back to communion. Yes, Etta. Okay, so communion with God and communion with one another in a real sense is achieved by prayer. Okay? So that is for the Lizia Crew. The core value for Frassati is virtue. Okay, and we're going to kind of develop that more and more. What I would like to see happen with Frassati is to take on this role of like discipleship and mentorship. So if you feel like you have a heart for journeying with other people, encouraging them in the faith, then Frassati is going to be a really good opportunity for you to do that. We're going to encourage some more small groups. Some of you were a part of Forge, the Lenten Bible studies, different kind of small groups we have on campus. I want Frassati to encourage that. Because I think ultimately it's in these smaller groups where we realize, okay, we have a safe place, kind of express ourselves, share our struggles, and we really can grow in intimacy with each other and with the Lord. Obviously, Frassati is going to be responsible for some of the nights, like tonight. Frassati has taken on this role of community as well, so maybe it'll be a community night where we're just enjoying each other's presence, engaging in the joy of being alive and being a Christian. Catholic Schools Week is probably the biggest thing under Frassati's kind of control. We did something we had never done before. We had adoration with the whole school. We played games. I want to see that grow even more. We had some dress-up days. I think Miss Lawson will let us do a dress-up day every day. Y'all were so good this year. So I only want to see that grow. So Frassati's really going to take that and hopefully run with it and make it even better. And then evangelization. So really an invitation to ministry for people who maybe otherwise wouldn't. So Blessed Pierre Giorgio Frassati, our patron, he desired the religious life. And in some sense thought that that would be a great way to live his life. But he felt this real call to be among the everyday man. He was actually working in like a coal mine so that he could evangelize to people who otherwise just never would have heard the gospel. Okay, and so I think Frassati can play a role in this invitation for people who otherwise maybe would feel like I can't go to a campus ministry night. Okay, so more to be fleshed out with Frassati, but that's kind of the idea. And then I will continue to talk because I will cover Aquinas. So the core value for Aquinas is truth. Truth is when your mind agrees with reality. So Aquinas, we are going to ask the big questions. We're going to pursue truth. And so Aquinas, there's the social media advertisement aspect of it, but there's also this desire to bring intellectual formation. Not just what you have in your theology classroom, but really how do we teach each other? How do we grow in our knowledge of the Lord? And something I always think about that Mr. Creek said, it's kind of a common phrase, but I always hear it in his voice, is that you cannot love someone that you don't know. If you want to grow in love of the Lord, you need to get to know him. Okay? And so Aquinas really wants to provide opportunities for that. Something that you might feel passionate about is like, okay, what talks are we going to hear at our class retreats? What subjects are we going to talk about at girls retreat and guys retreat? If you feel like you really have insight on what people need to hear and what would be beneficial for the students, Aquinas Crew might be a great place for you. You can really help us understand, what do the students at Trinity Catholic, what do they need? What do they want to learn about? What will help them grow? What's been a stumbling block for them in the faith? Okay, and so if that's something that strikes you, Aquinas might be your place.
So Calcutta Crew is obviously the last one, and our core value is mercy. And so when I think of Mother Teresa, who is one of my saints that I admire the most, I think of one phrase that she said. And one of the things is that, you basically, her quote is basically that you don't have to go out to serve. You find your own Calcutta in your home. And we know those people in our lives that we need to serve. And the mission trip was great. Those of you that came on the mission trip with us, that was an amazing experience, and we get to have those experiences, and those are part of all of service as well. But we know the people in our lives that we need to be of service. And Jesus said, love the Lord your God, but you gotta love your neighbor as yourself. And so you can't love God without loving your neighbor. And I feel like mercy and Calcutta is a big part of that. And sometimes, we do these things, all the things on the list, the behind the scenes, but we also do things as they pop up, because when those needs arise, we have to fill those needs. And so that's a big part of Calcutta is just service. And you might get a text from me or a Facebook, not Facebook, what am I saying? Classroom message from me, thank you, that says, look, we need people to serve tomorrow at the Emily House, because that need arose, and we have to be able to fill those needs. And so there are some planned things. We do a lot of pro-life activities. Mother Teresa was big in the pro-life mission as well. But some of our goals are to have a service project school-wide, one per quarter. So that's something that we're looking into for next year. And there's a bunch of other things, we do the formation nights and other service projects behind the scenes. But to me, with Calcutta, I see and we see a culture of service to each other on our campus. Just kindness to each other on our campus, I think, is a big part of that core value of mercy.
Okay, so I'm gonna formation, but there is also the JP2 crew. Every person in the JP2 crew is actually appointed one of the other 4 crews. They're just in the JP2. They're more of the organizing, strategizing. They communicate with the rest of the crew and the head of the crew. They're kind of doing a lot of the behind the scenes work, heading up the retreats, although a lot of you will have opportunities to serve and lead retreats, just doing all the kind of organizing and things like that. But they're also part of the crew. So I'll kind of go through that a little bit later. So the commitment, I know that kind of was different if you were in the crew this year. At first it was like, we're going to have a formation night that you have to attend, or you have to attend the meeting on Wednesday, and then that just was like really difficult to do. First we had technology problems, we couldn't show you the video, and people were forgetting, and so we kind of just said it was a little too much. So we did formation night in the beginning of the year, and then we would do a ministry, Rebel Revival, whatever night, another Tuesday. So then after Christmas break, y'all remember we consolidated just to do one. So it was like a formation campus ministry night, everybody was open, and then we kind of stopped taking roll because it was like too much to keep track of. And then we realized people were signing up to come retreats, and then we weren't keeping roll, so we didn't know who was coming to what. It was kind of became a little bit of a mess. We tried our best. There was a lot of change, but next year the commitment is that you attend one monthly formation/ministry night, kind of like we're doing now. So that there will be some formation where you're formed in the faith. You have opportunities to grow, but we can make it like a Rebel Revival. It can be fun still too. Do games and music, and you can have a theme, whatever. But it's going to be kind of all that in one. But you are expected to attend those. I know there's sporting events and things like that happen. But the idea is that you want to come because attendance will determine who will be leading the retreats. So I'm going to assign JP2 members next year. We've already talked about with the class this year that are going to take attendance at everything. And so when we go to pull for the St. John retreat, we'll say, okay, well, this person's been to like everything. This person can come lead a retreat. And we're going to really be diligent about that. So again, you're not going to be kicked off or penalized if you don't come to anything. But if you do come and you show that you're involved and you show that you're, wanting to be present, then you're going to probably have more opportunities to be involved in help planning things and come and lead retreats. On that note too, for those of you who are freshmen and sophomores, if you are looking at maybe being in JP2 as a senior, you might want to think about that now. Like, the more you attend things, the more we get to know you, the more we see your face, the more we see that you're sincerely wanting to be involved in ministry. By the time you get to be a junior wanting to be in JP2, it'll be like, oh yeah, this person has really already been involved and they've been to everything, and so they know what to do, so they'll probably be able to contribute ideas to some of the things that we're doing and make them better. You see? So that's kind of what we're trying to work towards. But again, if you can't come to stuff, you're not going to be penalized or kicked off, but we'll be taking roll. And daily prayer, like they talked about, it's the whole you can't get what you don't have. If you're not praying, if you're not coming to stuff, filling yourself up, it is going to be hard to contribute ideas or to relate to the campus or to have ideas for ministry events and kind of walk that walk. Morally, we obviously, like we want every student on this campus to do, strive for sobriety, chastity, and excellence. And to avoid scandal. So, that may be something, if there's something like really scandalous that happens, that may be addressed. But, we want you to be striving for these things. If you're wearing the campus ministry shirt and you're wanting to come lead retreats, if we're hearing things oppositional to what we stand for, then, it may kind of raise a red flag as far as like, well, do we want this person leading a small group if they're doing these things? So we just want you to be striving for those things. But again, you're not going to be kicked off or anything unless there's something major scandalous, like you're suspended for something serious or something like that, okay? What else? What does all this mean? Seniors and juniors, all crews. Why did I put that?
They're the ones who
Yeah, that's it. So I think I kind of said that. If you're a freshman going to be a sophomore next year, you will probably won't be invited to be in a crew because we had enough juniors and seniors this year to be able to invite to lead small groups at our feeder school retreats and our big Turlings retreats. Also, you have
Not crew, invited on retreat.
yeah. Hi. Okay, so yeah, you could be invited on a retreat. I don't know why I said that. If you're a junior or a senior next year, you can be invited on a retreat. It doesn't matter what crew you're in, is what I'm trying to say. Right? Am I saying that wrong?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So you'll have an opportunity to lead small groups. You also have an opportunity when we start at the beginning of the year to, like, if you have a testimony or you have a story that you want to share, maybe you've been through some adversity, you've had a little conversion moment, you experienced something in adoration, you can write your testimony. And we've pulled probably more people outside of JP2 have given their testimonies than in JP2. There's just been a lot of people that have written them and submitted it to me, and we said, okay, we'd love to give you to give this at this retreat. So you do have an opportunity to do that. So yeah, we do class retreats, feeder school retreats, girls, guys, and then the overnight Array Moose retreat. So. Okay, so the application, this is the process. If you sign up, you have to sign up your first and last name really neatly with your grade before you leave. Don't leave here tonight without signing up. I'm going to email you an application. It's just a Google form. It's not extensive. I know a lot of you already did it last year. It's going to be very